What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another show. Hope all is well. Now, on this video, I'm gonna play two different audios. One from Rich Eisen, and I'm gonna play one from Joel Klatt. Joel Klatt played at the University of Colorado back in the day, so he has covered. The reason why I'm gonna listen to Joel Klatt because he's followed Colorado more than a lot of these analysts because he played there. He said some interesting things here, and also Rich Eisen said some interesting things. So, yeah, so we're going to talk about, do we have an uphill climb here as far as the Cleveland Browns? There's been a lot of quarterbacks, as we know, they had similar trajectories going into their careers. The only difference between like a Shedeur Sanders and a Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy didn't have a draft grade as high as Shedeur's. And the being that people are still talking about this, that's why I know something went wrong. Because there's a race to clean this up. Because I told you guys before, if he can prove that there was collusion, somebody can go to jail for that. That's really illegal, especially if the Justice Department get involved and if they really do a full investigation and find out that there was some collusion going on. That's illegal. So I think that there's a race to clean this up, and there's been a lot of people to come out. Like I listen to Rich Eisen, I listen to Joel Klatt, and but one thing I got to keep in mind, these people are on code. I have to keep that in mind. I don't care how nice they are, but I'm not saying that they are lying or anything like that with their assessment, because they said that they have, obviously these two guys have insider knowledge more so than all of the other analysts out there. They have a lot of inside knowledge, and they said some interesting things, and it's one or two things here. If it was not collusion, it's listen, guys, it's one or two things. There's nothing else. Either there was some collusion going on. Actually, it's three things. And it's either they didn't see him as a first round talent. Um, if they came out and said, listen, guys, we don't see him as a first round talent, I'm keeping it real with you, then that'll be okay. There's nothing wrong with that. They just don't see him as a first round talent. It doesn't matter what everybody else think about him. It matters what they think, because they're the ones that's drafted him. Remember, he's the one trying to get a job in the NFL. They're not seeking him out. He's seeking them out. It's with all these players. The NFL is going to be here when their careers are over. So it's either they didn't see him as a first round talent, which I'm okay with, if that's really what happened, or number two, there was some collusion, and number three, there was some collusion and they didn't want to have to deal with his father. Any way you look at it, something with Coach Prime has something to do with this. They do not want to deal with him. Um, they feel some type of way about his father, and I honestly feel like they wanted to prove to him a lesson. But it's one thing for me to keep talking about it, but these analysts keep talking about it, and the draft is way over now. That's how I know something went wrong here, for sure. Something went wrong, but it's too late to correct it. Now he has a different trajectory than he thought he was going to have. See, here's the thing. If anybody can answer my question, if you are guaranteed to go in the top 10, wouldn't somebody tell you that? You don't just assume that, correct? You don't just assume that you're going to go in the top 10. You don't just assume that you're going to be the first or second quarterback taken. Because if the Giants said that he had a bad interview, he's not going to go around with Giants cleats on. You remember he had the Giants cleats? He showed the Giants cleats. why would you show Giants cleats if you didn't have any understanding that you could possibly go to the Giants? I don't get that. Or did he just say to himself, I am a first round draft pick? The hell with what they say, I'm a first round draft pick. No, you have to know that you're a first round draft pick. That's why somebody had to have told him this. Somebody had to. Because you don't have the understanding that, because he was surprised that he didn't get drafted in the first round. That means somebody told him he was going in the first round. Now, the only difference with this situation is he didn't have an agent. The agent, would have told him, like, listen, you're not going in the first round. An agent will tell you that. Like, I'm hearing the chatter around the NFL, you're not going in the first round. However, somebody told him he was going in the first round. For him to act like he was going in the first round, even though you're a good player, somebody has to assure you that you're going in the first round. Because as we know, it's not all about stats. They have to accept that you're going through the first round. Listen, what he has to understand is, what everybody has to understand is, this is a good old boys club. And he's not joining the good old boys club. He's actually working for the good old boys. That's how this works. He don't join the good old boys club. He's working for the good old boys. When I mean good old boys club, there's a good old boys club in this world, in this country. It is. It's them and us. But some of you, we're so going at each other for many different things that it's them against us. Actually, it's not the other way. It's not the other way around, because we're at war with each other. But somebody had to have told this kid that he's going first round. Because I remember the picture of the Giants cleats. Okay. In his mind, he had to have had a good interview. He had to. So that's why I was saying before, I would like to see the interview footage. They're not going to show it, folks, because it doesn't exist. He had a good interview. I think it was something they didn't want to deal with his father, yo. They want to get back at him. Honestly, it's not. I don't even think this had nothing to do with Shedeur now. Maybe a little bit does, but they want to get back at Coach Prime for some reason. Yeah, he didn't have the experience with the draft like this. He don't know what this is. Yeah, it's number one selling jersey right now. Yeah, people do love a story, but his jersey always been selling. It was selling like that in Colorado. You said the Giants told Malik Neighbors Shedeur was going to the Giants according. Okay, let's thank you for saying that. So something happened. Something happened after they told Malik Neighbors that. There's something happened. It's between. I honestly believe it's between these organizations and his father, because I believe his father was acting as his agent. Something happened. Something happened. It definitely something happened, and yeah, something definitely happened. Something definitely happened, and they're not feeling his father, yo. They're not feeling him. Shedeur, I don't think he did anything wrong. I really don't. And I know he understands that. He's just gonna have to. He has an uphill battle now, because if they want to get back at his father, they will just blackball him from the league. They don't even care about his jersey sales. Somebody was telling me this. They don't care about that. So what he's gonna have to do is, he's gonna have to pretty much go the same trajectory as like a Kurt Warner, but Kurt Warner never got drafted. But if you're good, let me tell you guys this. If you're truly a first round talent, he's not going to have any problems. And I think the teams know this. He's not going to have any problems climbing the ladder. Um, he's not going to have any problems climbing the ladder. And he's not going to have any problems winning over a position at some point. He's not going to have any problems. But this is just the cards he dealt now. Something went terribly wrong. Like if they told Malik Neighbors we're going to get him, something happened leading up to the draft day. Something happened. And they just like, I don't know. And it's more than one team that did it. That's why I was saying, is there some kind of collusion going on? Let's hear what first I want to hear what Rich Eisen is saying, then I'll go to Joel Klatt.
On social media by somebody trying to do somebody so dirty, they put a video of their Pineapple Express bong mask. And I don't think I ever will see a crazier one again than the one of Shedeur Sanders. If you had told me that Shedeur Sanders would go 143 picks after Cam Ward, if you had told me that a guy who throughout the entire draft process was considered by many knowledgeable evaluators as a top.
So let me just say this real quick. A lot of the scouts and a lot of the owners, they listen to a Rich Eisen. They listen to a Joel Klatt. They listen to different other analysts when they go over these quarterbacks. So they already knew he was a first round talent. His talent has nothing to do with this. There's some other beef they got going on. Something else is going on in the back end, on the background, that we're never going to be privy to. We're never going to be privy to what happened because it don't make sense. A lot of people lost money over this, especially if they bet that he was going to go no later than 10. You lost your money. So yeah, that's what everybody's saying. Something we're never going to know what happened. I'm just telling you this, and we're never going to know. But there was a collective effort to embarrass him, and they did it for a reason. I believe they did it to get back at his father, man.
5 pick.
Why to get back at him? I have no idea.
Wind up a 5th round pick. I would have told you were out of your mind. And sure enough, Shedeur Sanders, who we spent much of Friday's show talking about because he slipped through the first round, slipped through the second day. Nobody used a 2nd or a 3rd round pick on him. And then he slipped through the 4th round.
Yep.
Deep in the oldest part of Cairo, there's a mysterious salon known as the Crown Temple, run by a group of black women.
And at that point in time, I'm thinking that the NFL's lost its mind. I really was. Listen, the number of times, and I said this on Thursday.
No, they didn't lose their mind. The NFL, they crashed out. They crashed out over something. And I don't know if we're going to know what it is.
Night after he wasn't drafted. And then Friday night after he wasn't drafted. But certainly on Friday night after he wasn't drafted, the number of times you've seen somebody drafted in the NFL, talent over everything, when the everything would fill up an amusement park with the number of red flags surrounding this prospect, and somebody drafted him anyway. I've lost track. I've lost count. And this young man's transgression apparently was being unprofessional in meetings, being unprepared in meetings. That does count for something. It counts for everything in many job interviews, and this is a job interview. Okay? Like if you show up to a job interview with somebody unprepared and uncaring, you're not going to get hired. Nor should you. And so that makes sense when it's normally a business where that stuff counts. And it does count in the NFL, but so many other times, your talent, doesn't matter what you've done, hey, you can help me win games. You're hired. And we'll deal with it because you've learned from your past, you've learned from this. Again, I've lost track. And this kid's transgression has nothing to do with anything that would show up on a back.
Let me just say this, guys, real quick. At some point, they're going to have to show the video. At some point, they're going to have to leak that, or TMZ leak it. They're going to have to leak his interviews to see where he went wrong, to see if he really did go wrong like this, if he really went in there arrogant and didn't care. At some point, TMZ will leak it. It will get leaked, but it's not getting leaked. It's like they always, I'm telling you, they record all of these interviews. They record them so they can go back and evaluate what he said. They don't just sit there and not record it. They'll go back and evaluate it because they want to make sure that this is the guy. So yes, they do go by your personality as well, but they're not leaking it. So I don't know if it exists. I don't know if it exists, but if it does exist, and he really did do that, he's not going to survive long in the NFL like this because they got him blackballed now. They got him marked, but it doesn't exist though. This doesn't exist. It would have got leaked already. We know how TMZ is. They would have leaked that interview. All of the interviews, there's a lot of interviews. It was the guy, I forget his name. He went to the Buffalo Bills. He's a wide receiver. He gave interview, but his interviews are hilarious. All his interviews got leaked. All in his interview, his first interview with the team, you can go online and see that. You can go see these interviews. These interviews are they're there if somebody want to see it. Like they'll say, here it is. I think I don't know if this is the case, but I think that I feel like they're trying to throw me off here because they're getting some very important people that's saying the same thing here to make me think, oh man, if he's saying it might have happened. But I do know how these people stay on code though. They do stay on code, and I have to remember that. It's sometime with how these people think is them over us. So they'll put certain people out there to feed certain information to them, and they could be lying to these people because they're all saying the same thing. They're saying that he blew the interview and it was a character situation. But Rich Eisen wasn't there. He wasn't there. Joe Klatt wasn't there. We would like to see the interview. We would like to see the video footage. They don't have it because it doesn't exist. Something in this kid's mind led him to believe that he was going to be drafted after Cam Ward. Somebody told him this. That's why they were really surprised on draft day that it didn't happen. Now, Shedeur said that we all know this wasn't supposed to happen. But hold on a second. If you did something for this to happen, we would like to see the video, but they don't have it, Shedeur. So we're going to go with what you're saying. This wasn't supposed to happen. But if they do produce the video and you just sat there with your hat back and like, fuck y'all, yeah, that's why you didn't get drafted. But I don't think if I'm a betting man, that didn't happen. He did it. He did everything right. Because I've been watching him interview for the past 5 years. I've never seen anything to make me feel like he's arrogant. And my final assessment is going to be that he has a lawsuit. That's my final assessment. People have sued the NFL and still played. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. They have. And did you know that people sued to get in the NFL? I didn't know that either. And they got in the NFL. They sued to actually get into the NFL, and they ended up playing. I had never known that. Since I've been doing some research on this, people have sued the NFL and still played. You just didn't hear about it really. It went under the radar. They settled and stuff like that. But my final assessment is going to be that there was some type of collusion, and it wasn't his fault. They just wanted to prove a point to somebody, and that's what happened in this situation. Because, like I said, Rich Eisen, they're all saying the same thing. They're all being told the same thing. Now, if Rich Eisen come out and say that he saw the video of how Shedeur was conducting the interview, then I'll believe him if he said he saw it. But he never said he saw it. He said he's being told this.
Page, or heaven forbid, a front page of a newspaper.
The reason why I'm breaking it down like this, because I want you to, this is yellow journalism at its finest. I want to break that down. They can paint a picture of you and have everybody believe it. Like they'll put certain people out there. They'll put Rich Eisen out there. They'll tell him, hey, this is really what happened. He bombed the interview. So then Rich Eisen will come out and say, listen, from my sources, this is what happened. But Rich, you wasn't there. You wasn't there. So that's why I want to tell people they were not there. Now, if Bucky was there, he will eventually drop that footage. If Bucky was there and he don't drop that footage, they got a lawsuit for sure. He's just holding on to it. But I don't think Bucky would have been there for the interview, though. I don't think so. But if he was and he's holding on to it, watch out. Watch out. Because the reason why I say he has a $40 million, because they promised him, like, listen, you're going in the first round. So plans probably was already made already. Like, I'm not saying you're supposed to spend money before you get it, but, plans is getting made. I'm already looking at places in New York, different things like, because he was under the impression he was going to New York that day, I believe. He was going to the Giants or somewhere like that. But it didn't happen because, boom. Yeah. So, yeah, they could say to these analysts all they want to. This is what happened. Until you were there to actually, or see the video footage, or TMZ leak the footage, then we'll be like, okay. But that's something you can improve on. Okay, well, you got to interview better. That ain't had nothing to do with skills. Because at this point, it's making, guys, this is a bad situation. It's making the other quarterback they drafted feel crazy. I heard he's upset. And he has every right to be. He know goddamn well he in a damn quarterback duel now. He got drafted to be in a quarterback duel because that's what's going to happen. Because I already know how much of a competitor Shedeur is. He is going to fight tooth and nail for that second position. In Shedeur's mind, he's also battling Joe Flacco. He's battling him too. And he's very capable of winning a position. Everybody knows this. We knows how he throw that ball. He's very capable of doing it. Why would you draft Dillon Gabriel? He could have had a chance to go somewhere else. Now he's under pressure now. Well, actually pressure, you know what I'm saying, steel or iron sharpens iron. So he should be ready for the competition. Okay, if you the man, fuck the competition. All right, bring him on. But I heard he's feeling a certain type of way now. Shedeur, let me tell y'all something. He's not running from the smoke. Now he's mad because somebody told him he was going in the first round and they reneged on it. So he mad. Now you don't poke the bear over there. He's gonna go for Flacco's job. For sure he is. He's gonna try to get it to prove a point, or at least get that second string position. Because the other quarterback, I can't forget his name. He's not better than Shedeur. The quarterback that's in his rookie deal right now, he's not better than Shedeur. He's not. I don't went back and watched some of his film. He's not better than him. Dillon Gabriel's not either. He's not. The only person, and what's his name, is hurt. So the only person that Shedeur is worried about is Joe Flacco. That's it. Either he gonna get the starting role or he gonna be number 2. That's how this gonna play out if they keep him with the Browns. But now I heard that the Giants, some way they trying to finagle to try to get him at some point. No, let him stay with the Browns. What's done is done now. But at least what I would do is I would get a high-powered attorney and I would investigate this for sure. And let's continue with Rich Eisen.
I couldn't believe it. He's a 5th-round draft choice, and teams are passing up on him one after the other. He's got a dad like LeVar Ball. Deion Sanders now suddenly LeVar Ball. Okay, I got it. Like, what LeVar had he averaged one point a game when he was playing at any level, right? Okay, and he's just going to be a helicopter dad, and he's going to blow up your franchise, and this kid's going to have cameras in the locker room, and he's going to blow everything up. As if this isn't the NFL, where head coaches like Belichick just suck all the oxygen out of the draft, out of the press room or the locker room, and can tell you you're not being able to talk to my player. Mike Tomlin, if they had drafted Shedeur there, couldn't have told him, yeah, the cameras aren't coming in. And you know who would have backed off right away? Shedeur. And you know who would have told Shedeur to back off right away? His dad.
Yep.
all those arguments about Shedeur not being draftable because of, Deion saying, Deion's Prime Video reality shows is a sign of the team that didn't draft him.
It's a sign that somebody's hating. That's what the sign is. It's a sign that somebody's hating.
It's your team. It's your locker room. You run it. And you know who would respect that? The guy who runs his team the way he sees fit. By telling all the kids who he's inherited when he takes the job, bring your Louis Vuittons, because you're packing up out of here. And guess what? I'm going to retire my son's number. I don't care what you say about it. I just couldn't, slip through the first round, I get. Slip through the second day. All right, now you're going to have to explain to me what you're thinking. And again, if you're the Giants and you're like, I'd rather trade up for Jackson Dart because I like his tape, and I also don't want to deal with the other stuff that I'm concerned about with Shedeur. I'd rather work with one kid over the other. Then it's on Shedeur because he didn't either come prepared for a meeting or he was uninterested in a meeting. I'm not saying it was with the Giants, but if any other teams passed up on him, then it's on you. It's on Shedeur and his tape. Second night. All right, the Saints, they like Tyler Shuck better than him?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I look forward to seeing, Tyler Shuck prove that they did the right thing. And we met him, and he's got that chip on his shoulder, too. And the Seattle Seahawks, they liked Milroe more than this kid. And the team that drafted him liked Dylan Gabriel more than him. Okay. Now, that one we're going to actually see a competition about if that's right or not. But
yeah, we about to see that. If it's right, then Dylan Gabriel beat out the position. He's not, though. I can tell y'all he's not. He's not. He's not. And he's not going to beat him out. But here's the thing. We're not going to be able to watch the film to see it. So they could just sit there and lie to us and say, no, with Dylan Gabriel, no. But here's what I do suspect, though. They do have a problem in Cleveland, though, because some of the players, they're going to voice their opinion on it and who won that position or not. So we're going to know. It's going to come out. It's going to leak out who won the position. Because the players are not having it. Some of them, they want to win. They're not having it. So if they feel like they can win with Shedeur, they want him. But the Giants, a lot of the players of the Giants really wanted Shedeur there. And they didn't get him, and they don't know why. It has to be a hater situation. It wasn't the interviews, I'm pretty sure.
In the fourth round, he's passing up on this kid in the fourth round. The fourth round, Daniel Jeremiah nailed every single one of his top 100 got drafted. Every one of them.
Yep.
Perfect 100 for 100. Not in the order, but he just shows you he knows talent. Shedeur was number 20 on his draft board. 20. Okay. Being drafted in the fifth round, I didn't see that one coming. And I don't, it's a mixture of they didn't like the tape, they didn't like the kid, they didn't like this, they didn't like that. But through to day 3, I've never seen anything like it. Nothing like it. And then on top of it, he gets pranked. He gets pranked by an Ole Miss kid who got the number from the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons. Kid snaked it off his dad's iPad. So he gets pranked. And to Shedeur's credit, he was not moping. He wasn't. I'm sure he was thoroughly disappointed. I'm sure he was stunned that he got pranked on a phone that only NFL teams had access to. I'm sure that sucked. But for anyone out there who's like, Shedeur needed to be taught a lesson and has had everything spoon-fed to him by his dad, well, this is the laboratory in which that theory will be tested because he's going to have to compete.
Yep.
And again, this is the other crazy part of this. Shedeur doesn't get drafted in the top 5. He gets drafted in the 5th round. He's 143 picks separated from Cam Ward and a darn near almost a half dozen other prospects at the position taken before him. And the team he winds up on already drafted a quarterback before him and passed up on drafting his all-world Heisman Trophy team.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is they passed up on Travis too. The Browns did. They didn't even want Travis. It's Prime. They didn't like Prime, yo. That's what it is. They were trying to, but see, Travis was going to get drafted regardless. He was going to go number 2 regardless. But they passed up on Travis. Listen. The Browns, yeah, he in a problem. Yeah, Shedeur, he's in a bad situation. The Browns passed on Travis. Travis thought he was going to the dog pound. He was surprised to go to Jacksonville. That's why he was so goddamn happy. When he was jumping around, he was like, oh my God, I'm going to Jacksonville. The Browns didn't even want him. They didn't want nothing to do with Prime. It's something they got with Prime and the owners. It's something with Prime. That's what it is. They didn't want to deal with all what comes with it. That's what it is. I just thought about that. They passed up on Travis. The Browns did. You know why I say that? The Browns already have a quarterback. They got Joe Flacco, a 19-year veteran. And they got the other person, the other quarterback there that's in his rookie contract right now. But even though what's his name is hurt, but they got a 19-year veteran sitting over there. It does make sense for them. It does make sense to them to go for a quarterback because I don't know how long Flacco going to be playing. But yeah, they passed on Travis. They traded. It was a trade, and they let the trade go. But here's their issue, though. I honestly believe that Shedeur is going to outplay everybody, and let's see what they do. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see what they do in this situation. But you might have to say to yourself, okay, if the Browns is not a good selection, why would the Giants be? Because they passed on them too. Why would the Raiders be? They passed on them too. So he's in a situation here. The more and more I think about it is, I'm like, he need to get a high-powered law attorney at this point to figure out what happened because it's not his skills, it's not his interviewing. They just didn't. They just want I feel like they just had it out for the family, for sure. That's what I think. Let's see.
Those other guys actually went before him. And it's not just that they didn't dislike.
This is Joe Klatt.
Liked his personality. Here's the issue, and I've said this, on a couple of different places, including my show, Colin. I said, no team wants the story to be in the backup quarterback's locker. And it's not that they can't control the narrative, all right? They can probably feel like they can control the narrative and the team, but they can't control the media. And when the media walks in and Tim Tebow is the backup quarterback, guess who everyone goes and talks to? Tim Tebow. And then they ask all the team about Tim Tebow. Same thing happened with Colin Kaepernick. It's part of the reason why they didn't.
Joe Klatt said this is what he's thinking. He's thinking that all the NFL teams think Shedeur is a backup. They don't think he got the skills that we think he has. But my problem is, who told him that he was in the first round then? Somebody had to have told him. Like somebody just said, the Giants said that they were going to draft him. So he was under the impression that he was getting ready to get drafted. Thank you, Howard Cooper, for the donation. Thank you for the donation. Let me get to Howard. Thank you, Howard. What's going on, Howard? You found me over here. Thank you. What's up, Mike? Haven't seen you since Moses built the ark. What's going on, Mike? Thank you for the donation, Mike. Chantel, thank you for the donation. He said, believe me, Shedeur will be on the team. Jimmy Haslam loves Shedeur. He does. Well, you think so? I'm talking about like the Giant, like why the Giants didn't get him and the other people. So we'll see. You said Shedeur was his pick. He owns the team, but how come he didn't pick him first though? See, that's what we're talking about. He should have got him. You know, when they traded for when they let Travis go, their first pick should have been Shedeur because he's worth it. He's worth it. So that's what people are like having an issue with. Like, okay, I understand you got other needs on that team as well. They do. They have other needs on the team. But Shedeur was under the impression that he was the second quarterback after Cam Ward. Another thing that I did hear before the draft started. That's why I knew something was getting ready to happen. Before the draft started, it was said that there will be no other quarterback drafted in the first round after Cam Ward. Yes, they did say that. So they had already put it out there already. They said there will be no other quarterback. No teams are looking to draft no quarterback in the first round. They have other needs. So I had already knew something might happen right then and there when they said that. They said it right during draft day. I mean, the day before the draft. They said that there may not be another quarterback going the first round after Cam Ward. And I knew right then and there something was up. Something was up right there. But he was under the impression that he going first round. Now, if he slipped to the second round, then okay, I understand that. He slipped to the second round. But yeah, the round, see guys, the round that he slipped in, that's what we call the backup rounds. That's not a starter. They don't see him as a starter at this point. If you saw him as a starter, you would have drafted him higher. That's traditionally how it works. So that's why these people are still talking about it. The reason why they still talking about it is because something went wrong here. That's why they still talking about it. Thank you for the donation, guys. Um,
Last long as backups is part of the reason Cam Newton is the backup, because he becomes the story. Right. And I think that was the case with Shedeur Sanders. That's 100%, at least in my estimation, what happened. And I don't buy at all, not for 1 second, that there was some sort of overarching collusion amongst the ownership of the National Football League to teach him a lesson. I don't believe that that was the case. This is too competitive an industry where everyone's trying to get a leg up. If they viewed him as a starter, they would have selected him in the first 21 picks of the draft.
So, you know Colorado football, you played there, you know it well. I have asked multiple NFL people, how do you make the offensive, defensive player work simultaneously? Let me ask you, how did Colorado do the meeting rooms for Travis Hunter?
Yeah, so he primarily would split it up based on day. You know, so he would go on Tuesdays to offense, for example, and days to defensive meetings. And then by and large, he would be in what I would call like a load management kind of position during practice. So didn't practice a ton because they knew that he was going to be taking 120 snaps. I think more important to how he divvies up his time, though, if you're going to have this player play both ways, your coach has to have an immense amount of courage. Your GM has to have an immense amount of courage. And this is where the beauty of Deion comes in. This is why Travis chose Deion in the first place, and as the top-ranked recruit in the country, went to Jackson State, is because he knew that when Deion said, yeah, you're going to play both ways, that Deion meant it and that he wouldn't back off of that. Because the pressure is immense on...
All right, so you've already said it, everything we had to say about Shedeur. He said that he believes that they think Shedeur is a backup. That's why they did that, which makes sense because he went in the fifth round. But I've been following the news leading up to the draft, and there was every indication on everybody's board. I'm talking about all the analysts, not my opinion, all the other analysts, that he would go in the first round, no later than the second. That was the assessment. First round, no later than the second, because the teams may not draft a quarterback. So it was already said that after Cam Ward, the other teams, they're going to go after the other skill positions first. And then they'll go after another quarterback in the second round. So I said, okay, being that he dropped the first day, he'll definitely go the top of day two. That didn't happen. So he's saying that they see him as a backup. And what I'm trying to say is, like, from what I have witnessed for the last few years watching him, he's not a backup. So, but that's why I say, guys, we're never gonna know. So now the next segment here is moving forward. Does he have an uphill battle or what? Um, with the Cleveland Browns, do he have an uphill battle? Still here? All right, sorry about that. So my thing is, do he have an uphill battle or not? The answer is yes and no. It's up to him on whether he have a up. It's up to him what he do now, because if he go in there and he just light it up, then it's gonna turn into a storyline. Like, damn, this is the first time in the history of NFL a fifth round pick beat out everybody. Now you got a movie now. This could be a whole movie being scripted. Okay? You know how you say legendary? Shit, this could be legendary status here now. Okay? Legendary status. He comes in, he not only beat out Dylan Gary, he beat out Joe Flacco, man. Now you talking, I don't know. Now you talking some type of other time now. But I think he's good enough to be the number 2 guy, and then eventually, work his way up after Flacco decides he's gonna move on, and then he'll take over the ropes from there, and the rest will be history. That's how I think it's gonna play out. But here's the other situation: if the other people didn't want him in that organization, but the owner did, he's gonna have a problem. He's gonna have a problem, and the only way it's gonna save him is Joe Flacco and them. The veterans are gonna have to save him. They're gonna have to go to the top man. Like, listen, this kid is really that good. They're fucking him over. I think that's what's gonna happen too. It really would have happened with the Giants. It really would have. But I don't know. I don't know if people, because we're not on code like that. My demographic, we're not on code like that. Other demographics are. We're not on code like that. As soon as one person get theirs, they like fuck everybody else. We're not on code. This is why stuff like this happens. It's not enough for Malik Neighbors to talk. Everybody should have been talking, but we're not there yet. I don't think we'll ever be there. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. Travis Kelsey talked though. He did. That was big that he did. You know what I'm saying? Him and Malik Neighbors. That was kind of big actually. But that's not enough for the owners to budge though. That's not enough. There is a way to get them to budge, but the players are just not on code to do that. So just forget all that. I don't like to be wishful thinking all the time. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, it's just up to him. But it's just that if the way they look during the draft, like it was a funeral, they don't want him there. So they're gonna do. In my mind, they'll do everything to make his life horrible in Cleveland. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But hopefully, the players will have his back to say, "Wait a minute, y'all not gonna treat him like this." You know what I'm saying? But if they said what was correct, the owner said draft him, then maybe he'll be okay because the owner will intervene. Like, listen, man, this kid is popular. He's putting butts in the seat. Start him. We're damn 0-3, so start him. Start him. Because they may have to just because of the popularity. They may have to. Now, there was another report saying that when he went to the Giants, they gave him some installations, to learn. And they purposely messed him up to see if he could find them. And they said he didn't find them. And then he got pissed with them. That's what they're claiming. But if that's the case, then will show us that was the case. They can't show us that. So they're lying. You know how else I know they're lying? Because they keep saying anonymous people. That's how I know they're lying. Because if I was an owner, I'd come out and tell y'all, like, look, man, he bombed the fucking interview. You know what I'm saying? He bombed the interview. He didn't know the plays. He bombed it. He bombed the interview. I would tell y'all. I ain't no hater. It's just that he wasn't ready. And I would tell y'all, but they can't say that because it was a lie. So I'm on top of this situation because they keep talking about it. I'm like, damn, what is it? They keep talking about it because they know what they did was wrong. That's why they keep talking about it. They keep using, say, hey, you talk about this real quick. Then they even got what's his name in the mix, Antonio Brown. Um, Antonio Brown, as he released some videos saying that Coach Prime wanted me to work with his sorry ass sons, right? Until their mother, Pilar Sanders, she kept on to the real stuff. I guess she keeps footage of all their stuff. She released the real footage, and it showed Shiloh getting with him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got burned on a few plays now. I mean, think about it. This kid was in college, and Antonio Brown's an all pro wide receiver. Come on, man. That's no competition. So I don't know why Antonio Brown. I think he might have been paid to do that. Like, hey, try to make them look bad real quick. He must be in need. You know what I'm saying? His, you know, and go do this real quick. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause he just randomly came out and did that, and yeah, he just randomly came out and showed those plays and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, Antonio, like you be burning professional cornerbacks, let alone somebody just got out of high school. Don't make sense. I mean, well, he wasn't just fresh out of high school. He had already played in South Carolina. To my Shiloh. When that occurred, that happened at Jackson. I'm not sure. I think it happened in Texas. That play happened at, or it was in high school, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's an old video footage Antonio Brown shared. But the saga continues. Um, he just gonna have to kill it, man. That's just the only thing I can tell you. Like the Browns, how do you pass up on Travis? Like, how do you do that, yo? Why would you even trade for him? Like, I mean, I know maybe they did get some draft picks out of it, but still, I wouldn't have traded him, if anything. But hey, it is what it is. I'm happy that Travis is not, he's up in Jacksonville. I mean, yeah, Jacksonville. So that's what's up, man. It all worked out for him. But then, like I said, the other story is they don't want no part of the storyline, and everything that he brings to the table. So we'll see how the Browns treat him. I'm a little bit, I'm watching the situation though. I'm watching it, but I'm not really too confident in the Browns, man. I'm not, because if the way they were looking at that draft day, yeah, you got an uphill battle, fam. It's crazy. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything wrong. You ever been at a job and they just don't like you? They just set out to make your life hell until you somebody like me to threaten to, yeah, and let until you meet me. Yes, indeed. On my way out, I put the fear of God in this dude. I sure did, and I was armed. That's what made it worse. I was armed too, and they called. I ain't gonna get into it. They called all type of situations on me. As you see, I'm still sitting here talking to you. So I'm okay. Sometime in life, you got to go after the bully sometime. Sometime you do. And that's what I did. Oh, yes, that's what I did. But then you know how the cowards are, they get the law called on you. You see what I'm saying? But in this situation, I don't know if he's going to beat the bully, man. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to beat out the bully with his skills. I don't know. We're going to have to see. So, because they didn't want him there. So, it was like a funeral in that draft room. So I'm a little bit, I don't know, man. Now I look at it. I hope he be all right, though, for sure. It's a story to be written, though, right? 5th round guy turned starter. It's really a good storyline. But I don't know, man. I'm usually a glass half full type of person. So I always try to see the good in things, man. But I don't see no good in this. I'm trying to see the good in it, though. I'm trying to. But anyway, sports, man, shit happens. You said stop looking at draft day. You can't tell me what to stop looking at. That's first off. I'm just telling you. I do my assessments and I say, hey, y'all have a good day, and I keep it moving. You know, so I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. That's first off. Like, you got other channels, everybody give their assessment. You know what I'm saying? I know you're saying look at the other months, but he's already behind the 8 ball, man. And it's not his fault. That's my whole point. He was sabotaged, right. The NFL and the Browns benefited the most. They did. Because they got a first round talent on the cheap. And then on top of it, the ratings were up for the NFL. The ratings were up for the NFL, man. Yeah, they put the anonymous rumors out there to scare that could possibly scare the other owners off. You know what I'm saying? Because the owner's like, okay, damn, like, is he really a head case? Damn, I'm not going to draft him now. You know what I'm saying? We got to stay away from this dude. Because nobody wants another Lawrence Phillips. If you know that story, you know. You know, they listen to each other. Okay, what's up with this dude? Okay, I didn't interview with him, but this team's saying that he wasn't prepared. See, I couldn't have been. I'm like, well, how do I know they're not lying? But you know, they're giving up a lot of money on the first round. Now, that's $30 to $40 million they're giving up. So they want to make sure they got it right. You know, sometimes they don't get it right. Sometimes they don't. But I'm in agreement with you. They could have anonymously that probably was false claims they were putting out. Because they kept saying anonymous, this anonymous person. Like, if you're a coach, just say it. You know, and just tell us why you think he was unprepared. Okay, so he didn't know the plays. Okay, I feel you on that. If he didn't know the plays and you tricked him on the plays and you think he's supposed to find the tricks, I get it. You just want to see where he's at. You know, I get that. If he failed it, he failed it. So he just got some improvements to make, right? That's what that would tell me. But they can't show us that, you know? So, the only reason why I keep talking about it is because they keep talking about it. And that's how it's an indication that something is wrong. Because they could just be like, all right, let's move on now. All right, the hell with it. Fuck it. He went in the 5th round. Y'all could think what y'all want to think. But they keep having the analysts come out and talk about it. So, because they got people like us, we're still thinking that he got done wrong. So, but anyway, that's just my little, this world, I'm telling you, man, this world, man, I ain't gonna get into that. We keeping it sports, but It's different, man. This is crazy. You said calling Shedeur with happy face. I don't get what does that mean? You said with happy face, calling Shedeur with happy faces. I don't know what's the story on that. I don't know. You said a Barry and Stefani calling Shedeur with happy faces. I don't understand what does that mean? Yeah, I don't get the happy faces. I didn't see no happy faces on draft day. I didn't see that. I saw it look like a funeral up in there. That's they were clapping, but they were barely clapping. That's what I saw. But you saying there's another video of them being showing have happy faces? Yeah, that don't mean nothing to me. What's done is done. This man lost $30 to $40 million. Yeah, they could call what they should have get if they were excited about drafting him. Like he's not a fifth round quarterback, man. Stop. I don't like people gaslighting me. He's not a fifth round quarterback. He's not. I watched him more than a lot of people that just finding out about this. He's not a fifth round quarterback for sure. Sure, he's not. He got better skills than Tom Brady had at that level. Okay, he was more prepared than Tom Brady at that level. At that moment in time, like rookies and stuff like that. You said there's another video of the actual call. Who had happy faces? The owners or like I'm not sure who. Yeah, they happy they got them for the cheap. I'd be happy too about that. Hey, look, guys, we just got them for the cheap. You know what I'm saying? We sure did. We got a first round draft pick in the fifth round. Now that's what you call a bargain. They saved $30 to $40 million over the next 4 years. Okay, they got a bargain. They sure did. Because you know why they had to pay? Oh damn, we had to pay Watson. We had to pay him all this money guaranteed. We got Flacco. We got to sign him. We got to say something on Shedeur. So they sure did. Yeah, that is something to be happy about for sure. That's like a robbery what they did. And I honestly believe, folks, the teams are gonna let him go undrafted so they can get him, and then go get him. But the Browns owner said, "Nah, let's go get him." But anyway, they were happy, huh? That's awesome. Oh yeah, that's awesome. They were happy. Yeah, they got exactly what they you said what they needed. Damn right they the main benefactors. The NFL is too though because of the ratings. But over time, yeah, the Browns they really gonna if they keep them, they're gonna be like, look, we got the number one jersey sales. Everybody talking about us. We got them on the low. Yeah, you can't. That's just what it is now. So you're right. They did get exactly what they wanted. we're gonna have a lot to talk about. This will be the first time I'm even following a rookie training camp, or the training campus. I haven't followed training camps in a while. Washington used to have their training camps out here where I live at, not too far from where I live. They'll have their training camps out here. I've been to one or two, um, and that was about it. I mean, it's a funny story happened at one of them camps, but I have to save that one. But yeah, I don't really do camps like that, and I'm not really interested. Just the opening season, or maybe like the preseason games. Every now and then I'll watch those, and that's about it, really. But now I have to keep up on this Shedeur situation, see what's going on, how he's progressing. But you already know how he's going to progress. He's going to do really well. But I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, yeah, Al, you're right about it. Because they keep explaining it, and they have to get people to explain it for them. Like I know people listen to Joe Klatt, you know. Yeah, but I don't believe what I don't agree with what he's saying. How about that? Yeah, Rich Eisen saying that it's something else, It's like Klatt. Well, I don't believe it's collusion. You see how they keep telling people that? Well, I don't believe it's collusion. They have to get people to say that says something. Maybe somebody need to put something in the president's ear, like to get the Justice Department to look into this for possible collusion on this kid. And he has a lawsuit. Now they got other people coming out that we listen to saying, "Well, it's not collusion." No, you were not there, so you don't know if it was collusion or not. You have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt, correct? Okay, then, but part of that is coming up with evidence to prove it. So you weren't there, so you don't know. You don't know if it was collusion or not. That's a very serious word, folks, collusion. And so yeah, I knew they were going to get other people to come out. And what's crazy? I fully expect something to happen to Stephen A. Smith, yo. I fully expect I expect he gonna be the next person probably to have some type of woman come out or something, because he don't want to say collusion. I couldn't believe he said that. He you know how Stephen A. usually go to bat for the other team, right? No matter what. He came out and said it was possible collusion. He said it. So I think Stephen A. is on the clock now, yo. He got to be careful. He's gonna wind up like Shannon. You know what I'm saying? He got to be careful now. Remember, I said that he's a marked man for what he said. I just know how this world operates. As long as he's sitting up there, bowing down and doing what he's doing and talking bad about other people, they love it. But the moment that man said collude, something might happen to Skip Bayless too, like for sure. He sat there and said Tom Brady had something to do with it. But that's a little bit better than what Stephen A. did. Stephen A. said straight up collusion, yo. He think it was collusion. So don't be surprised if something happened with Stephen A. Smith, man, for sure. But I like that he said that, you know. He wasn't afraid to, speak on it. See, it's one thing for me to speak on it, right? Than Stephen A. to speak on it, because them folks don't gave him all that money. And there's already a story coming out saying that his co-workers really didn't like him or Shannon. So you remember Stephen A was on the hot seat before when he had made that comment telling women that don't provoke men to hit you during that Ray Rice situation. They damn near canceled Stephen A for that. But this one, you gotta be careful. Because if it was collusion, they don't want nobody to keep talking about it. Because what would happen if the family just get mad and then start to get a high-powered attorney and investigate it and find out that there was collusion? It's a lot of money on the hook right now. He could sue for so much money that he don't even have to play football. Okay? Like, fuck football at this point. Like, just give me, you know, my settlement and I just go away like that. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say about it. On a lighter note, he's beating Dylan Gabriel out. I'm sorry, and he beating that other quarterback out too, and that other one. That's it. All right. Remember, I told you that come opening day, he'll be the second string quarterback, backing up Joe Flacco. Okay. So you heard it here first. He is going to be backing up Joe Flacco on opening day, and if they can't have a winning record by week 4, the Browns gonna be calling for him to go in, and at some point he's gonna take the wheels this year, probably, depending on what the record is. So that's my outcome for Shedeur right now. Shedeur getting ready to get that shot at it. So that's what better way. But like I said, he didn't get drafted because of his skills though. So the owners were like, I already knew he could do that. Okay, we just don't like his old man. That's just what it is. We know what the kid could do. We thought we was gonna get him in the undrafted market, but the Browns owner pulled the trigger on it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm like, okay, they got Rich Eisen talking about it and Joe Klatt. There's no collusion. I don't think there's no collusion. No, well, we don't know that, Joe, until they do an investigation to see if it was collusion or not. But other than that, like I said, on a lighter note, he'll be the number 2 starting quarterback on opening day. Right away, that's what's gonna happen. And at some point in the season, we might see number 2 out there, and then we'll see what he do. Let's see if he remains solid or not. We're gonna find out. There's only one way to find out is put him in there with the dogs. That's it. But I'm supposed to be talking about my Giants or Jets right now. I'm now rocking with Cleveland. That's the way life is, man. You said trying to spike Deion, right? Then they said some NFL teams don't like the cameras around them, and Travis got cameras around him. Cam Ward does too. It's just a social media thing, man. It's for the fans. You know, people get to know you and stuff like that. It's not a big deal. They just using anything at this point, man. But like I said, opening day, we're looking at him to at least be backing up Joe Flacco for sure. Guys, I think that's my assessment. Yeah, he does do videos for them. And he did something for Ashton Genty. But Travis got his own editors and stuff. He does. Travis got his own thing going. Yeah, Travis got his own cameraman following him around. But guys, I'll be back in a few minutes. Well, a few hours, I mean. I'll be back later on. Thank you for joining. Shout out to Shedeur. He gonna be second string, I'm telling you. It's just a matter of time. Then it's a matter of time if we get out on the field, despite what all these people are saying. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.